U-GeekTV.
Well, I'm going to tell y'all right now, Ishana Night Shyamalan, she definitely a chip off the old block. M. Night Shyamalan, her father, I've had such an interesting relationship with his works. Like some of them I really love, like Split and The Sixth Sense, which I feel like is a little bit overrated, but it's pretty good. I feel like Signs is really underrated, and honestly, probably my favorite movie of his outside of Split and The Visit. But I have a love-hate relationship with his works. His film, The Happening, I truly do hate that movie for a lot of reasons. But I will say this, in a post-COVID world, if you go back and look at it, it actually holds up kind of well as a kind of a cautionary tale of sorts. But again, I'm just not the biggest fan of his, but I'm not a big detractor neither. So Ishana, I came in like, okay, let's see what you got. Welcome back to U-GeekTV. I am Jarius, Unapologetic Geek, and I am here with the unapologetic review of The Watchers, directed by Ishana Night Shyamalan and starring Dakota Fanning. You all know how it goes by now. I give my review on the front end, and on the back end, pause, we talk spoilers and just additional thoughts on the movie. So let's get into the review. I feel like The Watchers easily could have been an M. Night Shyamalan film. Period. The strangeness and weirdness of everything, the build on 10, the little breadcrumbs of details that you get here and there. All of M. Night's hallmarks have been genetically, apparently, passed on to Ishana, and she does some of the same stuff that her father did. However, there's some pretty good writing on the front end of this film, and just like our old man, the back half of the film kind of disappoints. So is this worth checking out in theaters? I mean, if it's a matinee, maybe, but I wouldn't pay like full price to go and see it. I just wait for it to stream or whatever. Is it a terrible film? No. Is it one of the best horrors I've ever seen? Absolutely not. For me, let's get to the verdict. I give The Watchers an unapologetically basic as fuck rating. I'm not saying that it's a bad movie per se, but it's just okay. That's a 2 out of 5, by the way. If you haven't seen it, shit, go and check it out. If you're interested in seeing it and just want to see why I gave it the rating that I gave it, stick around. We're about to get into some spoilers. So Dakota Fanning is this woman named Mina, and she goes on this trip in like a foreign country. It's not Sweden. Anyways, I'm not, whatever, geographically, I don't care. And she ends up in this forest and kind of gets lost, and some weird shit is happening. She ends up in this like observation area with I think it's a two-way mirror. Yeah, it's a two-way mirror. And they can't see who is watching them, but she's informed very quickly by the other people who are there. It's 3 other people that someone is watching them from the outside. Not someone, something. But enter the Watchers, who appear to be creepy. They make all these creepy noises. It looks like they got maybe 6 fingers or something like that on one hand. And it's just really... it's really unsettling the way they build the Watchers themselves. Now, I'm not going to get a whole lot into the plot details. Some shenanigans ensue. Of course, there are some things where it looks like we're about to see something and then they pull back in classic Night Shyamalan fashion. But ultimately, we do get to the point where we discover what it is that's going on. And I'll admit, they had me in the first half. The way these creatures behave, you kind of get glimpses of them, like their silhouettes. you can't quite make out how they look. But one thing that's really cool is they start off on all fours, and then they grow to like be 8 feet tall when they stand on just their hind legs, and it looks like they transform. And I thought that was really interesting. Didn't know where they were going, but again, they had me in that first half. And then, so the Watchers, they have rules. They're nocturnal. As long as you stay inside of the observatorium that they're looking at you in, they kind of respect it. They don't try to tear the place up. But if you come out, they're going to try and come after you. And there's a situation where Mina and Madeline, who's like this older lady that's there, they end up outside of the observatorium around when it's dark. It's never defined how many of the Watchers are out there, but they're a clear and present danger. So Mina and Madeline get back inside of the observatorium once they convince the people who are inside to let them back in, and then they find like this, not a trap door, but a door or a vault door that leads deeper into the observatory. So once they're down there, they find a bunch of tapes. And you see this professor who came there to study because he heard about these creatures. He had been studying their folklore for some time. Come to find out they're fairies. Fairies can be scary. Fairies can be really cool. Let's just see what Ishana does with this. So this professor was obsessed with fairies, and he studied them, and one of them he actually lured down into the depths of the observatorium and just figured out like all their talents and things like that. And he spent like 300 and some days there. So then he decides to kill the Watcher that he was observing, and then kill himself. He does this off screen, and at that point, they find out that if they follow these birds, which have been kind of, well, it looks random, but they've randomly been flying through the island. If they follow these birds, they can find their way out. They really got to get to the water. Mina has a pet bird. It was really cute, by the way. And she decides to allow her pet bird to guide them out. Pretty smart stuff. And so they only have so many hours of daylight before the Watchers come back. So they make this trek. And then in the middle of the journey, Madeline just gives the lore of the fairies about how they were sealed away in this crypt or whatever that they come across. And they have to keep moving and keep running, trying to get to the water. They get there. The sun is starting to go down. One of the Watchers kills one of the people that are with them. Mina, another young lady, and Madeline, they all get on the boat and they escape because the Watchers can't swim. And at this point is where this movie kind of comes apart. So Mina and the other two survivors, they make it back to the city. Mina goes to the professor's his office and sees all his research and everything. Come to find out the professor was looking for the fairies because he found out that they could duplicate other people, and he lost his wife. He was hoping that the fairy could give her back. Madeline is really a carbon copy of the professor's wife. So there's your big twist. So then we get to the point where Mina has to seek out the other survivor, Sierra, at her home and tell her everything that she knows. And right from the jump, I knew Sierra wasn't behaving the way she normally behaves. So it's clearly Madeline. It's clearly the Watcher transformed into Sierra, and a whole clumsy final battle ensues. And it's kind of, I'm not going to say it's difficult to keep up with what's going on, but it feels like there were some contrivances made for or to keep Madeline from killing Mina, just so they can get to this big reveal that Mina is a daywalker. She's the only Watcher who can survive in the daylight. She must be like half human also. And she talks about how she felt different from the rest of the other Watchers and fairies or whatever. And Mina essentially convinces this creature that she can go about her days, just live a normal life, and just leave Mina and Sierra alone. The real Sierra's knocked out throughout this whole ordeal. And then the CGI is kind of shoddy when Madeline turns into her fairy form, and then we're told that Madeline kind of turns into this little red-haired girl and follows Mina around from time to time, kind of stalking her, but she'll never kill her or anything like that. And then you find out that Mina was a twin, and Dakota Fanning is playing dual roles, and he kind of pulls the whole movie together, duality and all that kind of stuff. And it's clumsily executed to me. Like, I don't know what it is. There's something about the way the reveal is handled and the way everything unfolds after that reveal that it doesn't sit well with me. And it kind of gets a little heavy-handed and preachy in a way, and it's one of those things where the message kind of got in the way of the storyteller, and it's just clumsy toward the end, and it's just, I'm not going to watch it again. Feel free to watch it, of course, it's your right, whatever. You don't have to not watch something because I said something, but just kind of be prepared. If you've watched this without watching the film, it's a little bit disappointing. You may disagree with me, but if you've seen the film, more than likely you do agree with me. Like, it's nothing to write home about. So, The Watchers, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you think in the comments. Continue to like, continue to share, continue to subscribe. Thank you for everything you all have done. And until next time, I'm Jarius, the Unapologetic Geek, and I am out.